Chamique, thank you for visiting us, man, here in sunny LA. We're here at Inglewood right now at Sippin' Sonder, and we're having us a latte. So I guess we should toast to that, right?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
But you ain't look each other in the eyes. That's bad right there. You're supposed to look each other.
I thought you were supposed to do that when you take a shot.
No, it's any drink.
Any drink?
We're coming together. We're community right now.
Oh, there
We're
it
family,
is, though. You learn something new every day.
I picked that up over in Europe.
Okay.
From playing.
That's Europe
Europe right there.
Let me write that down. So, I got the chance to look at your documentary, Mind Game, which was, by the way, it was extremely profound. Something that I noticed throughout that documentary is that it didn't highlight how mentally strong you were, actually. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that a lot of times athletes don't get credit for being mentally tough outside of the arena of sports. Mm-hmm. Can you share with me your philosophy on being mentally tough?
I think for athletes, especially coming up and starting off young, 11, 12 years old, from that time someone sees something good in you. You're coached. It's a whole coach mentality. It's sort of like you're pushed through life with all this assistance and guidance. And then when it's time to transition, everyone assumes that you have it together, but a lot of athletes, we don't necessarily have that total skill set because we've been catered to so many different levels. Yeah. And so when you hit with that transition, that's when you find out what you're really made of and who's really for you. So we all go through that, It's even, everyday people, there's, student athletes from high school to college, even middle school to junior high school. It's always those transitions that we're met through without life. And we just kind of, have to find our footing in a sense, especially after having these long, careers, being a successful collegiate athlete, going on to the professional level. And it's just like, what do I do next?
Exactly.
I don't know. Did you feel that for a second?
Oh, trust me, I felt that way.
Definitely.
It was a huge void. Mm-hmm. So when talking about being mentally tough, did Coach Summit play a huge role in prepping you on being mentally tough? Oh,
definitely. Coach Summit taught me one of the greatest lessons that has, something that I've used throughout life is that tough times don't last, tough people do. She taught me about preparation. I remember my grandmother when I was younger, she always told me, proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Yep, that's
and
it.
I used to sit
My
there
coach
like,
said
oh
the
my
same thing.
God. I'm like, look at your grandmother. My grandmother. I'm like, oh yes, I get it. But one thing I learned from, early on as a kid is to always try my best to be prepared. That's just going to give me a shot. That's not even going to tell you you're going to be a champion or you're going to win. It's just being able to, be at status quo, and then you equip yourself with the rest of the skills.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Then what would be the number one thing that you would share with an upcoming youth on just being mentally tough and taking that same mentality that they would take in the arena of sports and applying it into their everyday life?
Oh, the kids today, I think they have to understand what resilience is all about. There is so many distractions, things that you and I didn't have to deal with. Yeah. And a lot of times these kids put so much pressure on them. It's the whole social media thing and wanting to fit in, and it's always searching for acceptance, I would say, validation, For a young person, I would just tell them, and I got sidetracked right now, but I would just tell them, the number one thing is to go out there and surround yourself with really good people, and to go out there and life is tough. It's a wave. Yeah. It's going ups and downs, it's going to twist and turn, and you have to know you can't quit. Yeah. You can't quit. Exactly. They're so quick that it's throwing a towel. And, I'm not in first place, I'm going to give up. But you got to be able to handle the failures just like you handle the success, and keep that chin up and press on. And I think that's the big part of my story is I've had such a huge stage. I've been there, a superstar athlete, a great person in the community. Then because of my disability and not being in denial about my illness, I had, I shot down. I was going through tough times. I was embarrassed by it. It gave people the opportunity to attack my character. Right. And I could have stayed there. I could have stayed down. But there's strength in living in your truth. Yeah. Accepting who you are. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes just like the next person, but I accept responsibility at the end of the day. And just equipping myself, the same effort that I put into my athletic career, that vigor, that training. And you know how we train. Exactly. It's the same thing when life was looking at me a little bit different. They're telling me that I'm diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I'm like, come on, I'm Chamique. I'm strong, right? I'm strong. I can push through these things. And it's me looking at it and running from it for so long and having all these setbacks until finally one day just realizing, I have to put the same amount of work, discipline into my health as I did to the sport and to my academics.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's interesting you use adversity as a tool. And one thing that we learn as athletes, we have to overcome adversity on a number of occasions. We got to overcome adversity in practice, training, in games, the entire career. And I noticed one thing about your life story. You, over a consistent period of time, overcame adversity. During those critical moments of your life when you experience adversity, whether it be in your professional career or your personal career, were you being strategic as far as in how to overcome that, or that's something that was just cloudy for you?
I think initially it was cloudy because I wasn't in the right mindset, But once I started getting healthier and I started seeing things, it became clear.
Yeah.
Because one thing I know how to do since I was a kid is push through that mentality. Like, all right, I'm down, but I can overcome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm strong.
Yeah.
I'm resilient. I am woman. You tell yourself all these things, and that's what helped me at the end of the day, and putting myself in a position, being around people that know your character, being around people that support you. You know, because when you're moving and you're shaking, it's a lot of people you come in contact with you, and sometimes people want to be around you for the wrong reasons. And it's just saying, I can't invest all that energy into those people. It's knowing who really has your back. And so that's what I did, and that's what helped me get back on my feet.
That's definitely that's a helpful tool. Listen, I want to dive more into this conversation, but let's go have a seat. So you had a very healthy and successful professional career in the WNBA. 10 years, right? When your career ended, were you prepared?
I think I was prepared with the skill set, to go out into a world and be successful. But for me, the preparation as far as mentally, I was not there. Because as I spoke to you earlier about, since I've been 11 years old, I've always had a team around me. Now, that basketball career has ended, and it's just like, what do I do next? You don't have someone telling you, you got to wake up at 9 o'clock, you got to do this. That schedule is gone.
It is.
And so you're looking to try to pull the pieces together. And I won't say that no one was there for me. My agent and stuff, they were ready to help me transition. But man, it's like almost a shock to your system.
Yeah.
It's a loss of identity.
Hit it on the nail.
So I'm in the house, right? This is funny. So I'm in the house, your friends calling you, hey, do you want to coach, man, or companies you work with, I think you'll be a great spokesperson. And now as athletes, we laugh because when people call you, you're like, oh yeah, I got this meeting with such and such, or I got this, knowing you've been on the couch sleep all day.
That's
just
how it goes.
depressed
That's
and sad.
That's how it goes.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I think it just takes, something to shock your system, or a friend or a mentor to kind of get you out of your funk. Because like I said, we've been equipped with the skill set. I don't think athletes give themselves enough credit. We're great talking in front of people. We're one of the things we're put into the community. We know how to give back. We know how to be a part of something that grows. To start out with something so small and see it expand and grow. So we know how to build. But I don't think we give ourselves enough credit, and we have to go out there and start to try to do things ourselves. Like for me, it was saying, I'm gonna write a book. I ain't never read a book in my life, but I said, no, I don't want no one's help. I gotta do this for me. And I did it, and that just changed my whole mentality. I'm like, oh my God, I felt so good, even though it probably wasn't the best book. But
but you started something, you finished it.
I did it, yes. And like you said, it's about starting and finish. How many projects, like as us as athletes, when we're playing, we're like, we want to do this, and we start it. Never finish. Start it. Never finish. And for you, for anyone, and you start to create that habit, that doesn't feel good.
And it totally contradicts the whole idea of being an athlete, because in sports we can't start something and don't finish. Like if we go work out one day and don't work out the next day, we're not going to make the cut. And like that's my whole thing. It's like, these are universal principles that we learn playing sports. I don't know why we have a hard time transferring them into our everyday life.
Man, I don't know. I think it's because it's almost like this separation. I think we look at ourselves sometimes. We this whole athletic thing, it takes over us. and we have like this one-track mind.
Yeah.
I start to see now, like the younger generation, they get it.
Yeah.
You know, they realize I am a brand. You know,
Yes.
I am my own person. That's why when LeBron had that whole fiasco, I'm taking my talents to South Bay. Everyone got upset with him. Everybody had an opinion. But I'm like, he's right, because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
when you lived it, you know these owners don't care about
Hey,
you.
they don't, right.
And you have to take care of yourself and do what's best for your family. So I was in total support of him.
Yeah, same
so
here.
it's nice to see now athletes understanding that. It's like, you know what, I'm great in this capacity, but there's so much more that I can do,
Yeah.
so much more I want to accomplish. And so, you know.
No, you're right. You know, the athletes now that are up and coming, they treat themselves like a business.
Yes.
And that's the way you got to conduct yourself. And I think that's where I fell short during my transition. I didn't see myself as a brand or as a business. So when it was time for me to get another career, I didn't know how to market myself because I didn't know that I had already developed these tangible skills. I didn't know how to cross them over. So that's interesting that you said that you were already prepared career-wise, but it was the emotional side that you had to connect with.
Yes.
And I think athletes get hit on all fronts, both psychologically, financially, and emotionally when that transition comes.
Definitely.
So if you can kind of explain a little bit, like how did that affect you from an emotional level?
Oh, the emotional transition for me, the transition was debilitating. You know, I was in denial about struggling with the mental illness, and I was like in and out of such deep depression and spells. And people, if they look at me, they're like, "No way that you've gone through these things. You're a people person. You know, you're always like the life of the party." But it was days where I didn't want to get out of bed. I'm trying to process things. It got so bad, as far as like, struggling with mental illness the way I do. I have like extreme highs and lows. So it's to a point where you start, I took on this whole like false reality in a sense, start hanging around different people because they're catering to different things in your life. And those people aren't always like bringing the most positive energy around you because they're just basically pacifying you. And so it took a lot of work, a lot of support from my family, my friends, and also therapy to get to that place of, being able to know who I am as a whole person, and the weaknesses that I had and the things that I was dealing with to find strength in those, healing. And that's what we have to do as a people and as a community more is self-care.
I agree.
Self-care.
It's almost like overcoming stages of grief. Because like you said, we've been identifying ourselves as this athlete ever since we were at a young age, and now all of a sudden we can no longer play the sport we love for a living. And it's like, what do I do now? Who am I now? So you got to go through those 5 stages of grief in order to kind of reinvent yourself. So when talking about reinventing yourself, I mean, you created a platform for yourself. You're a speaker, you're an author. Like, what led you into that direction?
For me, it's nothing but like God, a lot of prayer, and finally accepting who I am. There's so many different dimensions and things that I guess Chamique Holdsclaw like equates to at the end of the day. And I think for a long time I suppressed a lot of those things. I was always a leader on my team, but it's kind of corny sometimes when you're like, oh, let's go to the museum or let's go to the art show. Not everybody on my team wanted to do those things. So it's a whole side of me that I always like just kept away because you want to be cool, you want to be like respected. And I think for me it's just stepping into my truth, Not only, I was this great athlete, but also I went to college. I got my college degree. I played for one of the most amazing coaches who taught me about life, I built a great rapport in the community. And also a part of it is like my sexuality. It's like being more comfortable with that and growing into it, understanding who you are. At the end of the day, being confident to say that. So I remember my grandma used to tell me, when I was younger, Chamique, she sit me down. You tell your story at the end of the day before anybody else can, because people are going to create stuff. And when I first went through my hard times in DC, I was so ashamed and so embarrassed to be struggling with mental illness. I didn't tell nobody. So next thing you know, I'm reading that I'm pregnant, I had Lou Gehrig's disease, like all these things, negative things. And so I was like, man, you know what? This is not true. And it hurts you when you read false things about yourself. So I just decided to change this around by just living in my truth and being honest. And I didn't know, like, at first I thought, oh, I'm the only one going through this, nobody's gonna understand.
Yeah.
But as soon as I opened my mouth, so many people were struggling with the same thing. So I got allies and allies for days.
And that's what you find out the more conversations you have. Like when I was first starting the professional athlete and I would have these one-on-one conversations with these athletes, we all talked about the same thing. Like, man, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I'm having a tough time just re-identifying who I am as a person. And that's when I realized, like, okay, this is a problem that we all need to talk about, and we all need to support each other and encourage each other to push forward. I mean, we were all warriors at one point in time. Like, so it's helping people re-identify who they are so that they can be the best that they can be throughout society.
But what's the key though? We have to, as athletes though, we have to have that understanding and accept it, because a lot of times it's this thing, especially people of color, it's a pride thing.
It's a pride thing.
It's a pride thing. Like, your boy, if we've been teammates, they may, or your girl, may be struggling, having a tough time. Like you said, it hits financially, it hits all different levels. And it's a pride thing. They don't want nobody to know.
Yeah.
So they'll, instead of getting help when things, first hit, they let things get so bad where nobody can pick them up, all because of this pride and ego.
You hit it on the
So
nail.
you got your brotherhood, I got my sisterhood. We have to recognize that, and the power in that and coming together.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to help this whole transition piece as it relates to, youth sports, collegiate, professional level. When we understand we're together and learning how to, like, help your family. Yeah. So for me, you had asked me before, what does really help? Relationships, building relationships, right?
How do you leverage those relationships? And most importantly, how do you build those relationships and leverage them when you already have a platform for yourself? Because it's harder to go backwards to rebuild those versus when they already think you're the coolest kid on campus or in your community. So it's interesting when we're talking about brand and the brand that you created and built for yourself. Now, were you a natural when it came to public speaking, or did you have to develop this tool?
Oh, I hate public speaking.
I couldn't tell. I really couldn't tell.
I'm pretty shy, but it's this whole new thing, the introvert, extrovert. So I guess that's me now. But I think when you love something, you're passionate about something, and something has that type of effect on your life. I'm very transparent, very honest, and that's where I talk from. I always laugh because I remember with my college coach, I said, Coach Simon, you're so good at giving these speeches. I'm watching her in D.C. and Virginia speaking to the CIA. You know what I'm saying? We go to the White House. She just commands it, and everybody's just eating out of her hand. And I was like, Coach Simon, Dad, how do you do this? And she's like, practice. And I said, I wish I was that good. She said, no. She goes, you're you. When you speak, you're so passionate and honest, and you're the Chamique, and people love that. So never change who you are. So when I go to these schools and stuff, everyone's amazed. Man, how these athletes, they just connect with you. First of all, I want to be able to reach them, so I listen to the cool songs. Yeah, okay. It gotta be relatable.
You gotta be relatable. Yeah.
I'm not gonna go talk to these student athletes who are from all different walks of life wearing no suit, business suit or whatever. I want to feel comfortable. I want to feel like they're ready. So I might wear some jeans and nice shirt, sweater, some chucks. Yeah. And the first thing they say when I tell my age, you're not 40 years old. No. But they feel like they can connect with you, know. And I'm like, oh man, if I was here, I would go to their practice. But it's about building that relationship and that trust with one another, and feeling that they can connect.
I definitely understand that. What is the number one gift that you say that you will contribute to society?
Whoa, number one gift. Oh my God. I think through my story, I think people can understand, like, just learning the power in one's voice, Like I said, I was always like the quiet one, but the movements are powerful. And I realized there's different types of leaders in sports. You always have the leader by example, the vocal leader. I was always the person by example. But then I realized when I do open my mouth, people listen. Yes. So I just think that's the number one thing I contribute. You see this person who found the power in her voice, the person who is courageous. Yeah. And is ready to wake up every day and fight. Yeah. I fight every day. I tell these kids, do you realize sometimes I've come in, it's 1,000 people in the audience, to get up there and tell them, you know what, I had a hard time getting out of bed this morning. I'm honest, I'm real,
It's being comfortably uncomfortable and allowing yourself to be vulnerable in front of others. That's a tough thing to do. That's hard to do.
It really is. Yeah. And also just the emotional work. This is hard. People always ask me, what do you do? It's a ministry. You know what I'm saying? I got some top athletes in the country calling me, you know, Chamique, at 2 o'clock in the morning, like, hey, I just need somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
Like, why me? You got full staff, you got everybody you could talk to, because they can connect. They find something in my story that's relatable. So Kara's always telling me, my partner, you have to answer that call. You know, you have to. You this is what you want to do. You have to be there for those kids.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. So you're about to approach the WNBA Women's Hall of Fame.
With the WNBA, no, it's Women's Basketball Hall of Fame.
It's women's basketball overall, which is even more significant.
Yeah.
Let's step this thing over a whole nother notch. My bad. What does that mean to you?
Oh man, it means that I guess I can finally put the exclamation at the end of an amazing career. I always said, you know, people just ask me why you're in it. You don't realize, like, I guess your contribution, you know. Yeah. And now, you know, you get older. I start dusting off those DVDs, and I'm like, all right, let me look and see it. And I'm like, wow, I did that.
I do that?
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Man, I was pretty good. And so now it's just kind of like sitting back and allowing other people to just marvel and praise you for an amazing body of work. And it's been a long time. You know, I waited for this day. This is something you think about as a kid. You know, it's like, oh man, I want to go into the Basketball Hall of Fame. So this is honor, and I get to do it with my college coach that recruited me, Tina Thompson, Katie Smith, players I played against. So this is going to be a special night.
No, it definitely is. And like I said, you deserved it. I mean, your career was amazing. You was once considered the women's Michael Jordan of basketball. So like, that's awesome.
You made my knees hurt.
I know, right? No, that was you. Before I let you go, what would you tell the 16-year-old you?
The 16, failure is okay. You know, a lot of these kids walk around now with so much pressure on their back not to fail. And the thing you realize, that's a part of the growth. You know, that's going to allow you to figure out the pieces you need to equip yourself with to be successful. So, you know, I found out something great. It was in the New York Times like a few weeks ago. Smith College in Massachusetts has a college program by a wonderful professor in leadership about failure. And it's getting all these rave reviews because we teach people how to succeed. There's a million self-help books on success, but it's not a million on failure, talking about that. And the way that this program is aligned, I think it equips these young ladies, because it's an all-girls school, so it's teaching there, to how to be more successful out there and to deal with life when it doesn't, you know, when it's not going as accordingly.
Definitely agree with that. And before I let you go, share with us, what do you have coming up next?
Oh, man.
Where can we find you? How can we support you?
Well, you can support me always by supporting like the JED Foundations, the organization JED that I work with. Actually, they just partnered with the NBA, so they're going to be leading the mental health initiative there. But I've been an ambassador for them for a few years, and they're on the Hill fighting for people all the time as far as suicide prevention in a collegiate, high school level. So it's supporting me and supporting them. Also, just being able to take this message of healing and self-care and helping that resonate through our communities, you know, whether it's sports, various ethnic groups who have higher suicide rates and things like that. We just got to be able to just change this conversation and make it okay. So that's how you help me. I'm not one for, you know what, my next mixtape is dropping. No, my whole thing is learning how to practice kindness and be there for one another. That's helping me, you know, because that creates a vibration.
Yes. That's true advocacy right there.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, I've had so much support and love, and I'm just really trying to give it back to these young kids, man, at the end of the day. So I could come out, I'm coming out with my new book. Well, you know, kids are not going to read that. You know, like they're young kids.
Young kids.
Mine is heartfelt, being able to touch them. We don't do that enough. So, you know, ask that coworker now, how you doing, instead of texting them. You know what I'm saying? Touch somebody. How you doing, young man? You need some help. And that's what the love is about. That's what the exchange has to be about.
Wow. Well, I'm so excited for what the future has in store for you. I honestly think that your legacy has just begun. The way that you're going to contribute to society. So it is an honor for you to be here as a guest on my show. Oh,
thank you, man.
One
athlete
athlete to another. That's the community.
I like you because you're humble, because you ain't trying to take me one-on-one now.
Oh, no. Listen, hey, like you said, your knees, my Achilles, man. I can't cut right now. You cross me over and I won't get up. saw yours twice?
Yeah, I got pictures too on my phone. I'll show you twice.
I bet we got some war stories to share then.
Yeah, definitely. But we're still standing, right?
That's right. That's right. Well, Chamique, thank you once again for joining me on The Professional Athlete. You're more than welcome to be a guest anytime. Like I said, I now consider you family, so I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. You just experienced another episode of The Professional Athlete. As we shared today, how important it is to be mentally tough, how important it is to overcome adversity, but most importantly, how important it is to take your transferable skills that you learned playing the sport that you love and applying it into your everyday life. Until next time, y'all, stay positive, stay productive, and stay in the present. I'm out.